You can't talk about the transfer portal without mentioning LSU. They are gung-ho about bettering their roster with veteran talent in a must-win 2025 season. And recently, the defense picked up yet another name for their secondary as NC State's Tamarcus Cooley is leaving Raleigh and heading on down to Baton Rouge. So let's grade the move. Welcome on into SEC Unfiltered. It's Cole Thompson here. Make sure that you like the video, hit the ring notification, and subscribe to the channel because we talk college football every single day. Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Follow us on the socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at SEC Unfiltered. Follow me. That way the back and forth banner can continue at Mr. Cole Thompson. And check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at GameTime. Download the GameTime app and use the promo code SECU for $20 off your first purchase. College basketball, college baseball, the NHL, the NBA are all about to be underway. MLB is right around the corner. Maybe your favorite comedian or concert's coming to town. Stop wasting your money and stop wasting your time. Go to GameTime, use the GameTime app, and promo code SECU will save you $20 with your first purchase. This is a long-term quality signing for Blake Baker's defense. For starters, he's got 3 more years of eligibility. Cooley was at Maryland, then he transferred to NC State. Very productive redshirt freshman season. And more importantly, he gets to be a foundational piece moving forward for Corey Raymond, for what Blake Baker wants to do, and for the Bayou Bengals culture. This is a guy that was wanted by multiple SEC teams too. So it's not like he was just a one and done by one school. No, Ole Miss went after him. Kentucky went after him. Mississippi State was in the running for him. And he chose to go down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and join forces with Brian Kelly. He's a guy that can play everywhere. He's got some experience at safety. He played last year in the nickel for the Wolfpack. He initially was going to stay in Raleigh, then decided to enter the transfer portal after multiple SEC teams went after him. He stands 6'1". He was one of the better defensive players on NC State's roster last year. He is a chess piece. If you think that he is a better fit at free safety, you line him up on the back end. That's a position that needed to be addressed after a very underwhelming performance in the Texas Bowl against Baylor. If you want to play him in the nickel, you can play him in the nickel. He's a little bit of a smaller frame when it comes to the actual weight, but the height is going to be there to cover tight ends, to cover slot receivers. He's got some good speed. He can fill on in. Last season, 30 tackles, 2 tackles for losses, 1 interception, 6 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles. He did a little bit of everything. They loved him out in Raleigh. He can fit in the box. He can set the edge. He can play the run. He's pretty good in coverage. He's making plays when it comes to winning against wide receivers. This was needed. When you look at LSU, they have the offense to be good enough to put together a run to the playoffs. You get your quarterback back in Garrett Nussmeier. You have yourself a contingency plan in Michael Van Buren. You replace wide receiver talent. You're losing Kyron Lacey for a lot of reasons. CJ Daniels enters the transfer portal. You bring in Nick Anderson. You still have Aaron Anderson. You like some of the pieces that you already have with Chris Hilton. My apologies. You still have Xavier Thomas. You're in a position to where now adding in Barry and Brown and quality tight end play like Bauer Sharp, plus a new version of the offensive line, you're not going to miss a beat. But it only matters if you can fix the defense, an area of weakness really the last 2 years at times. Go back and watch the performance against Alabama. That was not a team that was good enough to win an SEC title. Look back last season when you had a Heisman Trophy quarterback in Jaden Daniels, 2 first-round wide receivers that went for over 1,000 their first year with lackluster teams. Your defense kept you out of the national championship, kept you out of the running for a college football playoff. So you had to address the issues. You've done that. You've fixed your front 7. You've added in great run support. You've added in quality linebacker depth. You've brought in names for the cornerback position. The Virginia Tech kid, Masura Delane. You like what you have with the versatility. And now you bring in Cooley, who can do a little bit of everything this year while trying to figure out where he fits for the long term. So let's go ahead and grade the move. When you look at our list, elite, all league, winnable plus, winnable minus, I don't think it's very challenging to say that a guy like Cooley with 3 years of eligibility, with position flexibility that allows you to replace a guy like Sage Ryan, Major Burns, probably a better upgrade at what you have in the nickel position. He is a winnable plus player. For starters, 3 more years on the roster. So he's going to be able to grow and develop underneath Blake Baker. Number 2, if you feel like that Delane is only a good fit in the nickel, you can move Cooley to the safety. If Cooley is only a good fit in the nickel, you can move Delane to the safety. You have position flexibility. That is a massive win for any team that is trying to prove that they are better than advertised. On top of that, you don't need to start him right away. He may end up being a really solid player and an all-SEC name in 2026, but he's on the roster. he develops. It's depth. The thing that really hurts teams at this point in the college football playoff, an area where it's the semifinals, is you don't have the quality of depth. You don't have the players that are going to elevate your team in case of an injury. And we watch it all the time. Look at Texas this past weekend. They felt like they were short at wide receiver, which is very funny because they had two really good wide receivers to begin the year in Isaiah Bond and Matthew Golden. Neither were available in the second half. And what happened? Eventually, Golden came back in, and you were able to get a little bit more momentum on the offense, but nobody had taken that step forward. One-dimensional teams cannot survive this late in the college football playoff. And LSU is not playing second fiddle to anybody. There is a standard in Baton Rouge. 10-win season, college football playoff appearance, SEC title odds, top 25 ranking. That's what we expect. And Brian Kelly didn't do that in year 3. And he probably needed to spend more money in NIL. But so much was predicated on this recruiting class that they didn't utilize their resources in 2024. He wasn't missing in 2025. He's added in quality players. A guy like Tamarcus Cooley can come on in, be a plug-and-play addition, whether that be in the nickel, whether it be at safety. If you want to try him out at corner, try him out at corner. Whatever you see fit. You've added in 15 players this past cycle and a trio of defensive back talent, an area that was a weak point constantly in 2024. That's a win in itself. At some point, you'll be able to pinpoint and say, he's really good, he's really good, he's really good. X fits here, Y fits there. Tamarcus Cooley, he's going to play wherever we see fit. It's a chess piece that is maneuverable and, more importantly, sustainable. 3 years of eligibility. What's not to like about that? Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about Tamarcus Cooley heading on down to Baton Rouge in 2025? Like, review, hit subscribe. Make sure that you're following us on all the social channels, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at SEC Unfiltered. Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. And check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, folks, I am Cole Thompson. Tigers, you got yourself maybe a Kirkland brand honey badger. Who's to say? Peace.